welcome to Burning Issues, the only program that provides you with a regular glimpse inside the Wichita Fire Department. I am Battalion Chief Jim Wilson. During this episode, we will be reviewing some basic fire prevention and discussing the importance of keeping doors closed with Lieutenant Sam Hittle from Firehouse Number 1. Lieutenant Hittle, can you highlight some thoughts regarding fire prevention?
Yeah, we've got a lot of things to talk about today. Probably one of the biggest things that happened in fire prevention was in 1973, the institution decided that we had a problem with our fire casualties and our fire losses. And they created a document called Burning America. And in that document, it started to raise awareness to just how severe our problem was. About 1976, we started to see the implementation of this document. By 1979, we had some policies in place. We had some prevention measures going into effect. And by 2007, from 1979, we saw a 66% reduction in casualties.
That's huge.
We still have a ways to go, but definitely took a big chunk out of it.
You referenced that we are still having too many fire injuries and deaths. Where are the majority of the problems?
The majority of the problems are still occurring with kitchen fires at about 50%, followed by heating, 13%, and another 6% due to electrical. If we could just adjust those or get better at controlling those, then we've got 70% of the problem fixed.
So what can be done?
A simple solution is to never leave your cooking unattended. And then also when you're cooking, have some sort of measure in place that you can extinguish it. Obviously extinguishers are ideal, but there are other measures that can be taken. Another thing is when we talk about the heating, be careful with space heaters, especially as we go into winter. A lot of people like to use space heaters for their pets in the garage. Make sure that your floor vents are clear. And then also, if you have a chimney and plan on using your fireplace, get that cleaned out. That can contribute to a lot of fires at the beginning of the winter season as well. When we deal with our electrical problems, we want to make sure that our electrical plates are on our outlets. We want to make sure that we're not using extension cords as permanent power supplies. We also want to make sure that if we are using extension cords, we have the larger diameter cord at the source rather than the smaller, that can cause it to overheat and overload the system. And then finally, of course, we're also dealing with smoke detectors. That's important. We've been hammering that for years. For more information on that, go to wichita.gov, select Government from the drop-down menu, then select Fire, and choose Safety Tips.
We said we would talk about the significance of closing doors. How important is this?
Closing doors is incredibly significant. Smoke and fire travel into the bedroom results in the majority of the fire deaths that we see, but it also prevents thermal flow paths from moving to uninvolved areas of the home. We've always known this, but recently Underwriters Laboratory has started conducting study to quantify what we've known through scientific data. You can see in the diagram, we're looking at a fire in the living room on the first floor with smoke and heat traveling up from the stairwell to the second floor bedrooms. The bedroom in the back with the door closed is only going to experience temperatures at around 100 degrees. Now the bedroom with the door opening is experiencing temperatures upward towards 170 degrees. Okay, this is about 10 degrees above where we experience instant and irreversible degradation of the human skin. So you can already see how we're going to be safe if we keep that bedroom door shut. But the other thing you're going to notice is the velocity measurement concerning how fast the products of combustion, like the smoke and the fire gases, are moving into the exposed area. This doesn't happen in the bedroom with the door closed, while the bedroom with the door open encounters velocities upward towards 12 miles per hour. So you can see how fast circumstances can change from a tenable situation to a life-threatening situation. Now that we've identified through the diagram just how significant the temperatures can be, and we look at the fact that our open stairwell in our residential homes can behave like a chimney, it's incredibly important that with that door closed, we have practiced with our children how to negotiate whether or not to leave that room. If you approach the door that's closed, one of the first things we want to do is make sure that we check the back of the door for heat. We're using the back of our hand. We don't want to burn the front of our hand because it could make escape difficult for us later. And when we open that door, if we observe any smoke at all, we need to immediately shut that door and try to exit through a window. Now, if we can't exit through a window, the next thing we need to try to do to protect ourselves is place some clothing near the bottom of the door to keep smoke from coming in and wait for the fire department. All Wichita Fire Department crews are trained extensively for this particular situation. It's a tactic we refer to as VES, or Vent Enter Search.
What exactly is Vent Enter Search, and have you ever performed this tactic?
Yes, I have performed this tactic before. Vent Enter Search is where we're going to try to identify the exact location of the victim. Sometimes when we have a well-involved fire, it's difficult to locate stairs. It can be difficult to identify the footprint of the residential home. And so what we'll do is we'll try to negotiate the exterior of the structure instead and enter exactly where that victim is. Primarily this is usually through a window. What we'll do is we'll break the top of the window, we'll let some of those fire gases exhaust, gives us a little bit better visibility, reduces the heat a little bit. We'll finish taking the window, we'll enter through that window, we'll go to the door immediately because we also believe in closed doors. We'll shut that door, isolate any flow paths or thermal insult that's trying to come in that bedroom. We'll search that bedroom. And if we find a victim, rather than take them back out through the thermal elements, we'll remove them through the same window that we came in. This is a faster approach to victim rescue, particularly if we have a well-involved fire that requires a hand line to knock some fire down before we can get past to start searching for victims.
So this is a coordinated effort between the initial arriving engine company fire attack and the people that are actually performing the VES.
Yeah, everything we do on the fire ground is coordinated. We have a lot of functions and a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish simultaneously. Rather than talk it all out, we train before. We know that this truck company is going to be performing this portion of what needs to be accomplished. We know that the engine company is going to be doing this, and the chief sits out there and orchestrates the entire process.
What about the front door? After everyone is out of the house at their designated meeting place, should we leave the front door open to let the smoke out, or should we close the door?
When everyone's out of the home, and we want to make sure that everyone is out first, we want to shut that door behind us. As we look at this video, it's played back at 5 times real speed, but what we're looking for is we're trying to see the difference between the home on the left with the entry door closed and the home on the right that has the entry door open. As it relates to fire growth within the structure, you can see that there's going to be a significant difference there. Ultimately, closing the door is going to help slow fire progression, improving our potential for successful operations when we arrive.
That concludes this episode of Burning Issues. I would like to thank Lieutenant Hittle for being here today. Remember, Wichita firefighters are highly trained professionals who are your friends and neighbors. We are Wichita's bravest, and we serve you in many ways every day.